All right, so this week we're going to be doing blackout poetry. We talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to try to explain it to you so hopefully it makes sense for how you are to create some. All right, so what is blackout poetry? A blackout poem is when a poet takes a marker, usually a black marker, to already established text, so a newspaper, a magazine, sometimes even a book, and starts redacting, which means taking out words until a poem is formed. In this PowerPoint that you could click on, not this video, but the actual PowerPoint, there is a video that will break it down for you, but I'm not going to play that video for you because you can watch that on your own. All right, so here are the steps to creating a blackout poem. So first, you're going to look at the page that you chose just before reading it completely. Just keep an eye out for what we call anchor words as you scan. So you're going to just look at the page and then look for words that stand out to you because it has a lot of meaning and significance. So if you're scanning a page and you just see the word freedom and that word stands out to you, that might be your anchor word. So when you start with an anchor word, it's important because it helps you to imagine the possible themes and topics for your poem. So instead of just going in blind, you find a word and you're like, oh, I could work around that word. That is my anchor word. That is what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me in the theme. So look for an anchor word first. Then you're going to read the page of the text in its entirety. Read the entire thing. Okay, and then you will use a pencil to lightly circle or underline or even box. I think boxing is personally easier because of how you black out with the pen. I think the shape is easier. Or you can underline this if you're doing the work digitally. You're going to do this for any words that connect to the anchor word and resonate with you. Now make sure that you do this in pencil if you're doing this on a hard copy, okay? Now, resonant words might not be expressive or evocative, meaning bring out certain emotions in you, but for whatever reason, these are the words on the page that just stick out to you. They just call to you in some way. This is kind of the brainstorming part of making a blackout poem. Try to avoid circling more than 3 words in a row, too, just because that starts to look more like you just took a sentence out of it and let them do the work for you. Okay. Step 3 is you're going to list all of the circled words on a separate piece of paper, or you could do this on a Word doc if you're doing it digitally. And you're going to list them in the order that they appear on the page of text from top to bottom, left to right. So the way you would normally read a piece of text. The words that you use for the final poem will remain in this order so it doesn't confuse the reader. So when you're listing your words out, make sure that they stay in order because that's how it's going to be read. And if you're like, well, I need you to jump from this spot to this spot to this spot, it's not going to work and it's not going to make sense. The words need to make sense in that order. You're not adding words into this poem, you're only taking words out, and the order will stay the same. Okay? Step 4 is you're going to select the words without changing their order on the list and piece them together to create the lines of a poem. So you could eliminate, excuse me, parts of words, especially any endings, if it helps to keep the meaning of the poem clear. So if the word is there, but you want to make it the, you could do something like that. Or if it's a plural word and you want to make it not plural, that's fine too. Make sure that you try different possibilities for your poem before selecting them for your final poem, because once you start blacking them out, if this is a hard copy, you can't undo it. If you are stuck during this step, return back to the original page of text. The right word you are searching for could be right there waiting for you. You never know. So then step 5 is you return to the page of text and circle only the words you selected for the final poem. Remember to also erase the circles or the boxes around any words that you will not be using. And then you can also add an illustration or design to the page of text that connects to your poem, but that's not required. But be careful not to draw over the circled words you selected for your final poem. Lastly, Once you've made your final decision, then you're gonna black out. So just put black lines through all of the words and sentences that you're not using, and you're only leaving behind the spaces for the words that you chose to make your poem. So now I'll show you. Here's an example. All right. So we've got this poem right here. And see, it says, a flawless sky sunk in the sand, a mind clouded with shooting flames. That's their poem. They turned this one into an image. All right. So you can see that we have sunk in the sands, flawless sky. So then they have a sky and they have a beach. It ties together with the theme. Okay. There's another tutorial in the PowerPoint if you need help. All right, so here's some other examples. So this one says, never apologize for manifesting your dreams. That's the poem. So if this had a bunch of words before, they boxed the ones that they were going to use and blacked out everything else. The same goes for this one. So this is actually about blackout poetry. It says, anyone can scribble out words. The clever part is knowing which words to leave. Huh, that's exactly what blackout poetry is. Then we've got this one called Wonder. It says, wonder is detected by magnifying the mystery of the enigma. Ooh. And then he felt comfortable as he floated to the sudden tide of the room. So these poems are more abstract, but sometimes they could be a little more straightforward. So what you're going to do is you're going to create your blackout poem and then submit a photo of it to Google Classroom. Now you have another option, which is to find a news or magazine article online, paste it into Google Docs, and then black out the words using the highlight, but you would use black as your highlight color function. If you choose to do it that way, you need to include the link to the online article so that I can cross-reference it to your work. Okay, I don't want you just typing a poem and then blacking out other spaces and saying, oh, see, look, this is me creating a poem with something that's already in existence. No, you need to show me the actual main piece of work, and then I'll see how you edited it to make it your poem. So some online newspaper sites are newsela.com, NBC News, CNN, NPR, USA Today, BBC, but there are certainly more. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. Make sure to go back and watch the tutorial videos, and you could reach out if you have more questions.